make a fact, but you have legal point.
Yeah, on the legal point, there is no fresh tangible material. We have got Bombay High Court in Aventis Pharma to support that, to say that there should be fresh tangible material available. It's a sine qua non for reassessment. I am relying on Aventis Pharma for this proposition, Your Honor. 323 ITR 570 Bombay High Court. For absence of tangible material. Coming back to change of opinion, Your Honor, this is completely governed by the Cabinett's decision of Supreme Court. 320 ITR 561.
Your second proposal, we have understood it's on account of the change of opinion.
Change of opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. The third is the absence of tangible material, that also we have discussed in the process. That there is no tangible material available with no fresh material.
You are talking about the explanation 1 to the first proviso.
Explanation 1 which says that mere production of diary, etc. However, it is not a mere production. When it says that a mere production of any books of accounts or documents does not amount to full and true disclosure, that is explanation 1 up to 147. In this context, Your Honor, my simple proposition, this is not a mere production. Mere production means something whereby I just produce and nothing has been discussed. We have told that it has been extensively discussed. The ideas have been discussed, extensively dealt with. Only some entries in that have not been dealt with. Now, say for example, if the diaries were produced, there is an extensive discussion, but the AO chooses not to discuss about few of the ideas.
You may produce thousands of papers, there will be thousands of seized papers with them. You expect AO to go through every paper?
Your Honor, my point is this. Explanation 1, I understand, I appreciate fully. But in the given facts of the case, it is not a case where it has not been dealt with. I have produced that it is not only my personal input.
Bombay High Court, Zohar Siraj,
I will try to distinguish it. I try to distinguish it. That has been mentioned in the case paper, so I will try to. Your Honor, I am reading from the headnote of this Lokanwala's case, where it is mentioned that associate.
How do you distinguish? How do you distinguish? Just confirm. How
in that case, Your Honor, in that case.
How are the facts different from
Yes.
your case?
In that case, there was a mere production covered by explanation 1. Whereas in my case, there is a search. Please appreciate that the diaries have been there with them. They have extensively dealt with them. Few entries have not been done. And now they are forming a different view just because of changing me from a finance broker to financer.
So you are trying to say that explanation 1 will not apply in your case.
Considering the facts of the case, it should not apply.
Okay.
Yes. So that is on the third, absence of tangible material. One more issue is there, Your Honor. Both these assessments are reopened beyond 4 years. So we are governed by provision to 147. We are governed by provision to 147. And in the reasons, it has not been mentioned that there is a failure on the part of the assessee to disclose full and true facts. We are having a series of decisions which says that not only the fact has to be mentioned, the AO has also to point out how this deficiency, what was the defect on the part of the assessee.
Suppose you can infer that proposition from the results that were there.
Sorry, sir.
Suppose you can infer that proposition from the
Can the results be altered, Your Honor? Bombay High Court in army worker, Hindustan Liver versus army worker say.
But it should be specifically mentioned.
Yeah, it has not been mentioned specifically. And to support those, I have got 4 decisions which I can, if you permit me. Recently, in fact, in the Nirmal Bang, latest decision of Bombay High Court in Nirmal Bang Securities, 382 IPR page 93. Bombay High Court has said that the reasons have to specifically mention that there was a failure on the part of the assessee to disclose full and true facts.
382 ITR.
382 ITR page 93. Bombay High Court. We have got many other decisions. Also, Tata Business Support 122 DTR, 120 DTR 222. And Your Honor, one more aspect in this matter is that the copy of sanction is by way of only an endorsement by way of CIT. We are told. Section 151. And Section 151 requires the assessee to requires the higher authorities, the CIT, to give an approval. It is only by way of endorsement, nothing by way of speaking order. And we have denied a copy of that.
It's a routine endorsement that is done. It's not
only endorsement has been done. We have denied the copy of the assignment on the ground of secrecy, confidentiality. Now it is my own case. What is confidential about?
Where is the copy?
It has not been given. Section 151 copy has not been given.
Did you apply? Did you apply for a copy?
Well, it seems yes. I have been briefed by somebody, but it has been. It seems that yes, it has been because we have denied that. I am just reading. Though a copy of the sanction accorded by the commissioner is not given to the AO on the ground of confidentiality, it has been stated by the AO that the commissioner has sanctioned the same by endorsement. So mere by endorsement, it cannot be done. We have got many decisions that effect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Including Orissa High Court in 109 ITR 370, and also application of mind by commissioner has to be
We understood.
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, Supreme Court in Shivraj Singh 18 ITR 147 and many other decisions. So on this 4 or 5 counts, I feel that the assessment is not valid, and I request the bench to please question.
Your Honours, I appear on behalf of the revenue. I have really only 4 or 5 short propositions to make. Firstly, being that the reopening has been validly initiated on the ground that explanation 1 which says that mere production of evidence before the assessing officer itself would not be full and true disclosure. Because there would be certain voluminous material on the basis of which the earlier assessing officer was not able to come to a correct interpretation. And for this, I would like to rely on Rakesh Agarwal versus ACIT reported in 221 ITR 492. And what that case law says, and I'd just like to summarize in 3 points, is that material evidence is not writ large on the document but is embedded in some voluminous records, books of accounts. Possible that having regard to the nature of documents, material evidence cannot be discovered from such record despite due diligence. Mere production of the books of account or other documents without pointing out the relevant entries does not amount to disclosure. So here, Your Honours, in the present case, there were voluminous records which were available and the earlier assessing officer really had not applied his mind to those voluminous records.
Explanation 1 applies only when books are produced by the SSC. Here the diaries are sealed to the department. Explanation 1 applies only when SSC produce something because as I understand the diaries are ordered to the department.
But even at that
Because the department read about the diary.
I agree, Your Honours, but even on the basis of those diaries, even if they were not available at the time when it was filed, the point is that the appreciation or the application of the mind by the earlier assessing officer has been clearly not made. Because the decoding method which has been...
Not the inefficiency of the department.
No, I agree on explanation 1 to the point that, it has to be really filed by the assessee and on the basis of that whether, one can come to the conclusion.
Proposition and explanation apply only when the SSC produces the...
I concede to that extent, but to the point whether the assessing officer has really applied his mind as far as those diary entries are concerned, which also really form part of the books in that case as far as the assessee is concerned, has not been done in the present facts of the case because the coding method has not been properly applied, and also what has not been applied is certain transactions were not properly reflected. As far as my second proposition goes, it is that the information relied on by the AO need not be extraneous to the record when the notice under section 148 is issued. So for that I'd like to really rely on ALA law firm which states that a detailed available to the AO in the papers already filed before him does not become an item of information by its mere availability. So that is my second proposition. As far as my third proposition is concerned, that the AO really has the jurisdiction to reopen an assessment if there is a mistake committed by the earlier AO. And I'd like to rely on CIT versus Rinku Chakravarti. So here, on the basis of that material...
What is citation in that case?
Rinku Chakravarti, 242 CTR.
246 CTR.
242. Page 425.
242 CTR.
Page 425, Karnataka. Where Your Honours really, so consistently the assessee is saying that there is a change of opinion. In my respectful submission, there is actually no opinion formed at all because there was an inadvertence, there was a mistake committed by the AO, as a result of which he did not form any opinion as far as this escaped income is concerned. So here to take the plea that there has been a change of opinion and hence reassessment proceedings are invalid, in my respectful submission, is absolutely a fallacious submission made as far as the assessee is concerned. Because Rinku Chakravarti, and I'll just point out those propositions which have been laid down in Rinku Chakravarti, where an income liable to tax has escaped assessment in the original assessment due to oversight and inadvertence, or a mistake committed by the ITO, he has jurisdiction to reopen the assessment. A taxpayer
Please maintain silence.
And the fourth proposition is really as far as the sanction in the 141, the mere endorsement can be really a proper sanction before.
Why did not you copy the SSC? Why the officer informed you of copy the
Because,
SSC?
Your Honor,
And why the copy?
Your Honor, it is the department's prerogative. Once I give you the reason, the supporting documents which are in my possession.
SSC asked for sanction.
No, so the sanction, the assessee assessed the sanction on the ground to say that only because a yes was affixed by the commissioner, that sanction was not valid. Now it is settled law, and actually it's not really settled, but in a couple of cases it has been said that even if you affix only a yes, that does not mean that the commissioner has not applied his mind, or it has been a mechanical process which has been undertaken by the commissioner. So in my respectful submission, Your Honours, by merely saying that because the commissioner has given an endorsement, this this approval is invalid, is an incorrect statement, and I'd like to rely on the decision of.
How do you demonstrate that the commissioner has applied his mind if it's a mere?
Because Your Honours, I'll tell you, though the facts don't really, come out very clearly, the facts are a little silent on that. But the fact that he has put a yes is an endorsement.
You have something to support on this?
Yes, I have Stock Exchange Ahmedabad versus ACIT, reported in 227 ITR 906, which very specifically states that where the AO has recorded reasons for obtaining sanction under section 151 and the deputy CIT granted it by making an endorsement yes, I agree with the reasons recorded by the AO, then that sanction was really held to be valid. And it was not said that it was just a mechanical sanction, even if it was just a mere endorsement. On the basis of that sanction, reopening proceedings have been validly initiated. As far as the proposition of, I have just one more.
Here the fact says that on account of confidentiality.
Yes, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that as far as confidentiality is concerned. My point is this, that once the endorsement is valid by the CIT, once the reasons have been given that on the basis of those diary entries or the search entries, those reasons have been given, any supporting documents which the department feels in its prerogative are confidential documents. The department is under no obligation to really supply.
Sanction is not supporting document, it's an important requirement, section 151. It's an important requirement.
Yes,
It's supporting.
now in a case of Yogendra Kumar Gupta, Gujarat High Court has taken a clear view as far as the 2G spectrum case was concerned. And that view has actually upheld the view taken by Delhi High Court in the case of Accorus United Wireless. And I'd only like to read the head note in that because it's a longish decision. I will in fact just read the relevant paragraph of Accorus as far as confidentiality is concerned. The Delhi High Court in the case of Accorus reported in 362 ITR 417 was examining the reassessment notices issued and the proceedings conducted under section 148 of the Act. The writ petitioner or company incorporated under the Companies Act was served with a notice of reopening. It was requested for a copy of the reasons which led to the reopening. Reasons had been supplied after a gap of 9 months. It was by way of letter that the reasons to believe that income chargeable to tax and escape assessment. A request was also made by the company to provide a copy of the report prepared by the DIT in respect of the 2G spectrum cases. However, the revenue contended that the material relied on by the revenue in respect of 2G is confidential and cannot be disclosed, and the revenue asked the petitioner to file its objections to the reasons recorded and supplied reasons to the petitioner.
This is related to the sanction, the reasons recorded. Here we are talking about whether the commissioner has applied his mind for the purpose of sanction.
In my respectful submission, Your Honours, the moment there is an endorsement made by the commissioner, I don't think there is any other mandate that section 151.
Can you give a copy to the bench, copy of the sanction letter to the bench?
Yes, Your Honours.
In letter.
I can.
Only one. I'll take 1 minute. About the submission made by the learned DR that there is no opinion form. This is not a case of 143 assessment. So that is 143. That is one.
That we have
About
understood.
section number 151, 151, section number 151, there is a duty also. We have got the decision of United Electrical Company Private Limited 258 ITR 317 Delhi, where it is said that the legislature has provided certain safeguards to prevent the arbitrary exercise of
We
powers.
will consider this. We will consider this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much obliged.
Yeah, the next.
Case 3.
That would take a sanction for changing the sign.
Your Honor,
Yeah, please be a little brief.
this is an appeal against section 263.
Brief and precise. We are not.
Yes, Your Honor. This is an appeal against section 263 as I already narrated the facts. I have challenged the jurisdiction of section 263 as well as the merits. Now there are two issues on which the learned CIT has revised the order. One is about purchases and another is about the share premium. Now, Your Honors, the case of the CIT, first of all, the very foundation of section 263 is that assessing officer has not made an inquiry. In my humble submission, Your Honor, as I pointed out earlier what the assessing officer has done, as far as the purchases are concerned, assessee has produced before the assessing officer the relevant bills as well as the payment details of the account pay checks which were called for by the assessing officer. Now the word inquiry, Your Honor, is a word of a wide amplitude. It is person who is conducting the inquiry, it is subject to his subjective satisfaction as to in a particular case to which particular extent the inquiry is needed. Somebody else's or a superior authority's assumption of what would have been an inquiry.
Inquiry of a reasonable person, not
Yes, Your
any
Honor.
kind of bureaucratic.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, if we read section 142.2, 142.1, 133.6, these are the various powers given to the assessing officer for conducting the assessment. He can send notice to the assessee under 142.1. He can conduct inquiry under section 142, and the last wording of section 142 says, as he considers necessary. Then he can have exercise power under
There is
142.
no guide, there is no check. There is no check on
Your Honor,
your official conduct inquiry.
Certainly, Your Honor, there is a check, but check is in the case where there has been no inquiry. We need to distinguish between a case of a lack of inquiry and an inadequate inquiry. This is not a case of a lack of inquiry, it is not even the CIT's case. CIT's case is that inquiry has not been properly done. And an improper inquiry cannot be considered as leading to an erroneous order. I rely, Your Honor, on Bombay High Court, Nirav Modi 390 ITR 292.
But we have explanation 2 on the statute.
Your Honor, explanation 2 has been inserted by Finance Act 2015 with effect from 1st of June 2015. In my humble submission, Your Honor, even after the insertion of the explanation, the law does not remain the same.
But what is the date of order of the commissioner?
15th April 2015, Your Honor.
15?
April 2015.
1 second. No, I'm talking the commissioner's appeals order. Revision order. CIT is revision order. 15th April. Okay.
15th April 2015, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Your Honor, in my humble submission, even after the amendment, the scenario does not change. The amendment does not give an unfettered power to the CIT to substitute what should have been the proper inquiry, but be that as it may be, in my case, even the order has been passed on 15th April 2015. So even on that date,
Is it not clarificatory? This
Pardon?
explanation 2, is it not clarifying?
Your Honor, my humble submission is not clarificatory. Even assuming for a moment, but not admitting that it is clarificatory, it can apply to the assessment which are pending or the revision proceedings which are pending as of 1st of June 2015. In my case, the revision order has already been passed on 15th of April 2015. So even assuming for a sake of for a moment that it is a clarificatory amendment, it cannot apply in this case. So, Your Honor, for lack of inquiry, improper inquiry, I rely on Bombay High Court 390 ITR 292, We have Delhi High Court 332 ITR 167.
Yeah, for a moment, if you presume that this is applicable retrospectively and this explanation too is applicable, in that case,
Yes, Your Honor. In that case also, Your Honor, kindly see what is the case of the CIT. As far as the first purchase is concerned, CIT is saying he did not issue summons under section 133(6). He did not send inspector for on-the-spot verification. Your Honor, my humble submission, what the amendment says is, if in the opinion of the principal CIT or CIT, the order is passed without making inquiries or verification which should have been made. The issue to be debated upon, Your Honor, is what is the meaning of the word which should have been made. Whether they are qualifying the word in the opinion of the CIT or whether they are qualifying the word inquiries. If it is considered to be qualifying the word in the opinion of the CIT, Your Honor, then no assessment will ever lead to any conclusion. Even if the assessing officer is doing 10 inquiries, CIT might say, in my opinion, this is the 11th inquiry which should have been done, and because it has not been done, it is erroneous. So in my humble submission, Your Honor, that is not the intention of the legislature. Supreme Court in that Parksarjas case has left that there has to be end of litigation in revenue matter. The amendment cannot be interpreted in such manner that it will go on again and again for the assessment. Then, Your Honor, about the second issue, about the share premium, he has given the direction on the merits. On the preliminary stage, I am challenging the very foundation of the section 263 jurisdiction. Even on merits, Your Honor. Even on merits, what he is saying is section 68 addition should be done. He has given direction to the AO because the share premium is disproportionate to the net worth of the company. Your Honor, that is not at all the criteria of section 68. What is required to be proved in section 68 is the identity, creditworthiness and genuineness of the credit entry. As far as the valuation of the premium is concerned, if at all I have charged an over premium, it could have been.
there is a proviso added to section 68.
Proviso also, Your Honor, doesn't talk about proviso is only shifting the burden from
Source of source.
Yes, Your Honor, because in Lovely Expo, Supreme Court has held that once the identity of the shareholder is proved to nullify the judgment of override the judgment of Lovely Expo, now the amendment casts a burden on the issuer company that you have to explain the source of money in the hands of the shareholder. But that is not the case of the department. Department is saying because I have charged an extra premium, they have not doubted identity, creditworthiness or genuineness.
So you agree that it should be applicable retrospectively because the proviso is inserted from assessment year 13-14. The proviso to section 68 is inserted from assessment year 13-14.
My case is Your Honor, assessment year 11-12.
Yeah, so you agree that it will be applicable retrospectively?
No, Your Honor, in my humble submission, it will not apply to assessment year 11-12. In all fairness, I might consider Kolkata Tribunal has given a judgment. Shubhalakshmi Vanija that this proviso is applicable with retrospective effect to assessment year 11-12. So in all fairness, I may consider, but in my humble submission, it cannot be the case of assessment year 11-12. It cannot be applied because this is not a clarificatory amendment. This shifting the whole burden of proof from one person to the other person, it cannot be considered to be a clarificatory amendment. So my humble submission, Your Honor, that it doesn't apply to assessment year 11-12. Assuming that it applies to assessment year 11-12, but that is not the case of CIT. CIT is saying because you have charged over premium, that could have been a subject matter of addition under 56 to 7B, which doesn't apply to assessment year 11-12. So valuation of shares is never a criteria for. Valuation can never be the criteria under section 68. That's all, Your Honor.
Yes.
About case, the issue was there are two issues. I'll be very brief. The two issues, whether bill, etc., were produced. Now, my point is whether they have filed the copies of bills and payment, etc. Whether that is sufficient. Whether bill and payment, filing the details about the purchase of purchase bills and payment of the purchase, whether that is sufficient. Whether the AO is justified in stopping that.
But
Should he not have
before that, can we clarify two issues? Whether the amendment in section 68 is applicable or not, and whether the amendment in section 263 is retrospective, why the department stand on that?
I address that. First of all, coming to section 68, of course, in his arguments, the learned AR has mentioned on merits. But, sir, with due respect, as of today, it is very early to decide on merits. They are challenging the jurisdiction under decision. Let them face the assessment, we'll see the merits. It can come before the honorable bench again. I don't have any point on that as of today. This bench is not concerned with merits as of today. But anyway, since the bench has asked the question, I will say that I would like to consider, in fact, like to support the on the point that the retrospective operation of provision 68 he has talked about one Kolkata Tribunal which is against him on merits. I am relying on 263 for that Kolkata Tribunal, but on merits I will say yes, we have got Bombay Tribunal which is saying that provision to section 68 is not retrospective. Green infra decision is in favor of the assessor. Let me be fair on that. It is in his favor, and in fact recently it has been approved by the Bombay High Court also. So he has got a better case as far as the retrospective operation of merits is concerned. I am not on that yet. And this bench is not supposed to deal with that issue as of now. We are concerned with a case where we are just putting a 263 into operation, and they are challenging the validity of 263. The assessment is yet to happen. Now, having said that, my point is coming to issue 1, whether the bills, production of bills or payment evidence, whether that is sufficient as far as the inquiry under issue 1 is concerned. One more aspect, Your Honor, let us examine the definition of record. I am examining the definition of record under section 263. Explanation 1 to 263 defines certain terms. Clause B thereof says that the record has to be seen at the time when the commissioner looks into the proceedings. In this case, Your Honor, we have got a clear cut at the time when the commissioner looks at the proceedings in the records.
But not after issuing show cause.
Not after issue of notice. I appreciate. But we are told that in the facts of the case, after the assessment is over,